Lewis Hamilton was denied a record 8th F1 championship last year following a controversial end to the season at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. F1 race director Michael Masi came under fire for his decisions during the Desert Decider, and the FIA have now been told they must admit to mistakes ahead of the F1 Commission meeting on the 14th of February. In today's video, we're going to look at the shocking new audio of Michael Masi from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and what people in the Formula 1 have been saying about it. Also, we're going to look at your comments on our video about Max Verstappen's interview about Lewis Hamilton. There are some big opinions in this video, so you don't want to miss out. Hey motorheads, glad to see you back on this racing track. Did you get road rage and need the scenic view of Formula 1 updates to relax? Then we're ready to drive you. So put on your seatbelts and join us as we chauffeur you through today's video. But before that, be the perfect speed freak by banging into the subscribe button. Alright, we're good to go. Let's start the video by looking at some of your comments on our recent video about the Max Verstappen interview. The interview was incredible, and if you haven't seen our video on it yet, you definitely need to check it out. We asked you to comment your thoughts on what Max said, and promised we'd have a look and review what you've been saying. There were a lot of comments supporting both drivers, so we've picked the best one from each side of the argument. Chris Hennecum wrote, "The rules are quite clear. The driver with the highest point score wins the world championship. All the rhetoric and race incidents do not matter. Until the crash and the safety car, both drivers had the same points tally. Unfortunately, the World Championship title was obtained following a very strange decision by the race director, a 1-1 lap race. From this moment, it was a pure gamble, and Max won the World Championship. Fair or not, that's the result. Lewis is now warned. Max should appreciate he was very lucky and let his results speak. Now, let's see what the 22 season will bring us. Personally, I'm looking forward to see the first race. Cheers." Thanks for the comment, Charles. Charles Hennecum gives us a pretty measured and insightful point. Whether we like it or not, Max won the World Championship. He isn't going to admit it, but he will know that he got lucky on the last lap. It isn't his fault that the decisions of the race director affected the outcome so much, but he has shown Lewis that he's the real deal, and Lewis will have his work cut out in 2022. Sharon Ware, though, was more on the side of Lewis Hamilton. Max was found to have contributed to the crash at Silverstone, even though it was mainly down to Lewis. He forgets that, because he sees no wrong in his behaviour, but wrong in everybody else, and all he does is put others down. Lewis rightly celebrated his win as he drove a stunning race to win with having to serve the penalty, and he had checked the condition of Max beforehand. Yes, Max deserved the championship, but no more than Lewis up until Abu Dhabi, and that is where things went wrong. And it was Lewis who should have won without a doubt, as he overtook Max at the start. And if there had been a clean race abiding by the rules, then Lewis would have won the race and the championship. But that wasn't what happened. The rules were changed, and this is how Max was able to cross the line and take the checkered flag first. It had nothing to do with Max pitting and being on new soft tyres, as if the rules had been followed correctly, then the tyres would not have mattered, as the safety car would have not had time to come in after letting all the lap cars go until the final lap, which would have given the win to the right winner on the day, and that was Lewis. Sharon's right, you know. Going into Abu Dhabi, both drivers were worthy winners of the title. The season had been a hard-fought, back-and-forth battle, reflected by the fact they were level on points. Lewis drove an amazing race in Abu Dhabi, and if the rules hadn't been altered to let a small number of lap cars pass, allowing the safety car to come in before the final lap, Max's new soft tyres were the difference, but they should never have come into play. Great point, Sharon. Thanks to everyone who commented. We read all your comments on every video, so keep them coming. We'll do this again in the future soon. Now though, let's talk about F1's very own boogeyman, Michael Masi. Some new footage from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix of Michael Masi speaking to Red Bull sporting director Jonathan Wheatley has arisen. Though this footage was available back in December, it's only recently been found by the F1 media. It gives some context to how Michael Masi rudely rebutted Toto Wolff during the last couple of laps at Abu Dhabi. Mercedes were furious when lap cars were allowed to pass Lewis Hamilton, allowing Max Verstappen to drive right up behind him before the safety car went in at the end of the penultimate lap. With Verstappen holding a huge advantage on fresh softs, Wolff urged Masi to reinstate the lap before. That's not right. Masi's reply caused further anger when he said, "Toto, it's called a motor race. We went car racing."
Toto?
Yes.
It's called a motor race, okay?
Sorry?
We went car racing.
His comments seemed strange at the time, and to be honest, they were incredibly rude. The new footage of the conversation between Masi and Wheatley, though, makes them seem even worse. Those lap cars, you don't need to let them go right the way round and catch up with the back of the pack, Wheatley said. You only need to let them go, and then we've got a motor race on our hands. Masi duly instructed only the cars in between the two title challengers to overtake the safety car, allowing Verstappen to catch up with Hamilton before the final lap, then overtaking the Brit because of his far fresher tyres. Masi's use of the phrase motor racing in the context of Wheatley's message to him now throws a decision Masi made into even more disrepute. Martin Brundle has had a lot to say about this new clip. I think you have to understand that it's not necessarily telling Michael Masi something he didn't already know, Brundle said. Let's not assume it's giving Masi information he didn't already know in terms of what he could and couldn't do in terms of the lap pact. Of course, it's really uncomfortable, and a lot of people are unhappy. Hamilton fans, Mercedes fans. For me, the really crucial regulation that wasn't carried out was that the safety car should have come in at the end of the following lap. He went on to say that it was hugely unacceptable. I met so many fans that were new to Formula 1 last year in particular, and fans in general that were hugely upset by what happened. We cannot, and we know it's going to change, have teams getting at the referee while he's trying to make a critical decision with cars on the track and marshals and breakdown vehicles. The car was on fire at certain times. He's trying to manage that, and he's getting lobbied left, right and centre. You can imagine that on the football ground or rugby ground is completely unacceptable, and that will change. Brundle does make a good point. Wheatley's message won't have told Michael Masi anything he didn't already know. The main problem is that the teams are even able to do this in the first place. There isn't any sport where it's acceptable to negotiate with the referee, and Formula 1 shouldn't be any different. Another retired driver had his say, with 1996 F1 champion Damon Hill also calling it uncomfortable and calling for Masi to apologise. It's not new or emerging news. It does, however, make for uncomfortable listening, as it did at the time, he said. No one except Red Bull is happy about this. The question is, what does one do about it? I think an apology is due to Hamilton and to all F1 fans. But it won't change the result of the 2021 F1 Championship. That's the whole point of my argument. Sacking Masi will not change the result. It may even be better for Hamilton if he stays, because he owes him one. What do you think of Damon Hill's point that Michael Masi might owe Lewis Hamilton a favour now? We know he can be influenced by what the teams say. Maybe the weight of what he did to Lewis and the sport of Formula 1 at Abu Dhabi will affect his future decisions in the favour of Hamilton. And now, McLaren team principal Andreas Seidel has told the FIA they must hold their hands up when it comes to mistakes. It is clear that what happened in Abu Dhabi was very controversial and not good for the sport, said Seidel. If you look at the entire season, a lot of controversial things happened that were overall not good for the sport. It is still a human sport, and that we shouldn't forget. And we need to accept mistakes can happen on the team side and on the FIA side. And it's important we create an environment where if mistakes happen, you raise your hand and admit them. That is important as trying to avoid similar controversies in the first place. It seems like the longer this goes on, the more members of the F1 paddock are coming together to let the FIA know that change needs to happen. Formula 1 at its heart is a motor race. When you peel back the glitz and glam, it's a team building a car and racing it to the edge of what is mechanically and technologically possible. The rules need to support that core of the sport. In the end, no matter how entertaining the drama is, we all just want to watch exciting and most importantly fair racing, where the best driver and car win. Thanks for staying till the end of the video. What did you think of the viewers' comments? Do you agree with one more than the other? And what are your thoughts on what the outcome of the FIA investigation should be? Let us know in the comments section down below what you think. On your way out of our pit box, Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that notification bell to be sure you don't miss out on any of our content. Till we see you next time, drive safe and bye bye.